Right, I can't find me headphones. How much of a problem is that?
Yes, we're back. We're back, baby.
It's fine.
Because I don't know my voice echo, but I don't know when. Because obviously I haven't picked them up for 4 months or whatever it was the last time
All
we
right,
did.
calm down.
Yeah.
So,
once you've been generous.
But we can't hear like an echo of our voices on your feed, so it sounds all right from what I can hear.
Okay, right.
It'll be all right.
Oh,
It's
hang
all
on.
good. Oh.
Aha! No, it's all right. It's all right. There you go. I found a screwdriver as well.
Welcome to the Conquistabores. Returning from their, shall we say, extended Christmas break of the Conquistabores. Coming together to form the four-man band tonight. The phenomenal one, Euan Taylor. He's got kids, it's Phil Doyle. The prize fighter, Cameron Phillips. And hot sauce, Geordie Milberg. Only tight on the Conquistabores.
I don't know what the kids do either these days.
Say what the kids do these days, and this will not please Al. Boo Hulk Hogan.
That was so funny.
I laughed my ass off. And then
brilliant.
see what the subtitles said when that happened as well. Crowd booing. It's like, oh,
dearie me.
It's tremendous.
You kind of think like in Vince's day, they probably would have tried to pipe in the cheers to kind of get around it. No. I'm sure they did that with Did they do that with Roman Reigns? I remember them doing it with somebody.
Yeah, it happened.
I think they tried,
but nah, that was like
this was vociferous booing.
But I'm sure I read like backstage Hogan was like, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll do a heel turn and lean into it." It's like, no, Hulk, nobody wants you.
No.
It's like when you had The Rock last year when he appeared out of nowhere and took Cody's Rumble spot, and it's just like, the crowd didn't like that. Oh, and that's when I thought that perhaps we should pivot on this. And you thought fuck all, Dwayne.
You wanted all the big cheers, and it didn't happen.
You took your big TKO dick out and went, I'm back, I want to do something.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, admittedly, it gave us final boss Rock, which is probably like the best version of the Rock we could have hoped for in like 2024.
Although did he he was he went on NXT and he was swearing, and it's on like television, and he was like, it's tough to go for the place where the stars are to hear. I think the crowd caught me. He kind of realized what he said, caught himself and started saying, "Yeah, this is where they make the stars." But
there we go.
That's not what you meant.
No, Rock. That's not correct. Also, seeing Penta in WWE just is not able to be processed in my head. I don't know how I feel about it.
How many Zero Miedos did he have during that Gable match?
At least 47.
Probably, yes. But bless him, it's over. It's cool.
I mean, it's over. I mean, it's a simple thing that the crowd can pick up on. So that's pretty much all you need in WWE these days.
Yeah.
Wrestling abilities.
That's what you've always needed. Come on.
Well, true.
Well, to be fair, you can't knock like Penta for.
Oh no.
Wrestling ability, I mean, Penta's really good.
No. I'm not. That wasn't a knock on Penta. I should be more clear. But a lot of the roster survives on a catchphrase or one thing they do during a match, where the rest of it's quite pedestrian.
Yeah,
I'm very much looking forward to the Jade Cargill singles match. That's never going to happen.
Yeah,
bless her.
The thing about Jade Cargill, and I mean, I was going to say we'll probably get around to talking about this, but are we talking about this now? The whole going between AEW and WWE thing?
Why not? Because Al's not turned up yet, so we may as well start the show.
That's true.
We may as well start.
Hello, welcome to 2025. We're back.
Yes, we're back again after 6 months of kind of like...
It's the same disorganized blob as it was before.
Yeah, it is.
It's not disorganized. We kind of organised this, but we organised it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And then kind of forgot about it.
And then it was Christmas. We were like, I'll leave it till next year now.
We can't be past now. We're gonna get like drunk over Christmas, and then like sometime in January. So here we are in the midst of
sometime in January.
a dreich January. Here we are.
So this is a roundtable show, and what we're discussing this time around is the best things in wrestling from the last 10 years. And Jade Cargill, I guess, is a good one to sort of hop on the whole AEW, WWE situation.
Yeah, I mean, one of the good things, if I was going to make a point, one of the things I've written down is the fact that in the last 10 years, obviously, as of 2019, there's a viable second company that wrestlers can go work for in North America anyway. And I know people often turn around and go, there always was because it was TNA. And we'll get to TNA later, I think, in the show.
Oh, boy.
TNA would always kind of just have been through so many different versions of TNA and so many different kind of fuck-ups that...
To the point they weren't even called TNA for a number of years.
Yeah, exactly. They still kind of have a taint to them, really. But anyway, AEW happened is probably one of the main things.
Yeah,
and it's
I agree.
A company that is backed by some serious money and enabled people who were a bit pissed off with WWE at the time to actually leave and do their own thing in AEW.
Yeah, with TNA being like a viable second competitor, like you could go there, but you weren't going to get a WWE top guy money, were you? Really?
No.
So they were never going to bring in I hate to say it, but they were always going to get Christian rather than Edge, if that makes sense, which they did, and Christian did really good there, and he did good, but they weren't going to be able to bring in that top tier people into the company.
Yeah,
because you've got a big, billionaire backer with a TV deal, you can bring in those guys kind of a bit of a higher level to kind of make it a bit more of a competition between the two when it comes to contract times and that sort of thing.
Right, what have I missed?
We're
not a lot.
Not much.
We're trying to remember how to do a podcast, and I'm not quite sure if we quite remembered yet.
Well,
Alan's got a screwdriver, so it's fine.
I've had 4 pints in the pub this afternoon. I think I'm sober by now, but it was a really nice afternoon.
Has he sweated it out now? Is that okay?
I had a sleep. I had a sleep and woke up and got really confused because I thought it was 5:30 in the morning and not 5:30 in the evening. So yeah, apart from that, I was fine. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Let's get this podcast done, boys. Yeah. 10 years of whatever we're doing. Here we go.
Shall we go around like in a little circle to kind of do like one thing each and see how many times we can go around?
Can I go first? Because I've only got one.
Okay, go for it.
Alan's going to struggle thinking of the last 10 years.
Yeah, I was going to say far too modern for Al.
Well, what I've decided to do, because I think this will get talked about a lot, is just do a little section. And I'm going to mention the network, because if the network's going to get mentioned. But I'm just going to do my little bit on the network, which was when they started adding the home videos. I thought that was amazing. It's like a lot of them things are on VHS, never to be seen the light of day again, unless you've got a VHS scorer, like some people. But having them just there to access, I thought was brilliant, including some titles we never got in the UK.
Yeah. That's a fair point. So they've started dumping them onto YouTube now as well, haven't they?
Yes, they've put them on the vault. Slowly but surely they're going on the vault.
Yeah.
But for me, when you hear Lord Alfred Hayes and Sean Mooney commentate, it just takes me so far back to when I was 10, 11, getting them from Woolworths to sit down. I mean, essentially, they're just glorified house show matches, the majority of these tapes. The compilation ones, not the pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. But there's something magical about them. I mean, one of my favourites, which was on there, was Hogan tagging with Piper to take on Flair and Sid Justice. I mean, doesn't that sound like that should be like a premier, WrestleMania type match? But yeah, here it is, just on this first match on the tape as well, bizarrely.
And only half that match is dead, which is quite nice, actually.
So no, that was mine. I got to watch the Ken Patera story. That's one we never got in the UK. That's another one I watched. It's really good.
Is it really good?
It is, because obviously they do that thing where they blur the lines between reality and sports entertainment by really putting into because he went to prison for breaking into a McDonald's. But they explain it all, and they say that he's done his time, and then they show him getting out and how he's turns face by turning against Heenan because he never called him in prison, never visited them in prison. And it was really cleverly done. And if Ken Patera was in better shape, it could have played. The storyline could have played out really well, I think.
We're not going to know who Ken Patera is over here to release a video. Is that not like the movie where Ken Patera is played by a monkey?
Sorry?
You're right, Cam.
I'm trying to bring a topical joke into, like, people not knowing from another country, not knowing who it is.
Oh,
but
you referring to
I got it.
I got
it. It's Robin
Never
Williams'
mind.
new film. I got it. I got it, Cameron.
I get it now.
Cheers, thanks, cheers. And it was funnier in my head.
Well, no, yes, Cam, but when the tape was released in like 1984, people will probably know who he is.
Well, probably, yeah.
Yes.
Would they though?
In America, probably not over here.
Yeah.
No. Well, that's why it was never released here, so maybe that's why. There was a lot of stuff on the network that we never got in the UK, which was interesting. And surprisingly, only 2 Hogan compilations made it there out of the 8 or 9 or whatever there was. There was only 2 actually on the network, and only 1 Warrior one as well. I went to watch one of them when it wasn't there. And all the World Tours, that was another one. World Tour 91 needs to be done under the Trade Description Act because I don't think they ventured outside of North America. But the rest of the World Tours were quite good. They actually went to other countries. So that was okay, yeah.
They have like a couple of like German house shows that were all like from DSF or something like that. And it was basically like the equivalent of the Brawl at the Royal Albert Hall, only in Germany.
Yes, there's a couple of them in 93. Definitely one in 93 springs to mind. There's also they weren't on the network, but there's a couple of German exclusive Colosseum tapes as well, the Silvervision tapes that you could get with there. They're probably on YouTube, broken down in various places. But I just thought I'd mention the home video section. But I think, as we might allude to, apparently only 10% of audience ever watched it. Somebody said, was that you got that statistic, Gab?
I think that was what they were saying. The fact that when people were worried about how much of the network stuff was going to go across to Netflix, there was someone said that apparently it was only like 10 or 11% of users of the WWE network actually watched the old stuff.
And it was quite like it was like what, 1 million subscribers or something. It was, I can't remember the last time they kind of said how many they had, but it wasn't like a huge amount. So a subset of that is going to be a very small amount of people digging into like the dark corners of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're talking less than 100,000 people, pretty much.
It's just crazy when you can dig into it. And I don't. Yeah, it's definitely not made it across onto Netflix, has it? I think there's a WWE portion, but it's just like SmackDowns, Raws, and pay-per-views. There's nothing else.
Pay-per-views, yeah.
There's something like the Edge and Christian show that was on there. That'll be completely gone now. I would assume.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, I mean, Christian doesn't even exist anymore. Edge doesn't even exist anymore. He's now known as Cope.
That's true. Cope.
Yeah.
I still like him, but I don't quite get why he's gone for Cope. It doesn't really work. But anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is on there. Yeah, they won't have Table for 3, which was okay. That wasn't bad. Table for 3.
I enjoyed the early episodes of Table for 3.
Yeah. Table for 3 was good for your 4 pints at lunchtime viewing. You just want something on in the background, really. You're not wanting to pay much attention to it. So things like that were quite harmless.
Yeah. Oh, there was an animated show that was quite good as well, but that's gone for.
Was that Road Trip or something?
I can't think what it was called.
Was it the one where
Camp WWE?
Was it that? I think it was something else. It was like comedy sketches, kind of like Family Guy kind of style.
Oh, I know what you're talking. I know what you're meaning. Is that not the one where they're telling stories from the road?
Yeah, they're like a road.
Oh, yeah.
No, there's a different one because, like, on what's the website? KHI Seats. Whenever they have like a Brock Lesnar story, it's like they use the picture from the show as the picture for Brock Lesnar. When he kind of comes out of a lake and punches a deer in the face.
This is the famous one I know was when Regal said he was traveling with Tajiri for like 8 hours, and Tajiri wouldn't say one word to him. That was on there. Yeah.
I'll have to dig into that. I forgot what it is. But yeah, that whatever it is, like all this kind of like random stuff, the kind of things they just kind of chucked in there for, I don't know, for whatever reason. But that's all going to be completely gone now, unless someone's kind of scraped it before it all got downloaded, before it moved across.
Yeah.
But I bet people were just kind of going through and just trying to find like all the kind of, the WCCW and all the kind of the other World Championship, all that kind of stuff. The feds they had on there to get all that stuff saved somewhere.
All the territory stuff's gone,
Yeah, I think we might get WCW, we might get ECW just because they've got quite strong connections to WWE. But I think the territory stuff is pretty much gone. It's now in somebody's.
Yeah, that'll be.
Which is a shame because there was some good stuff on there.
Oh yeah, some excellent stuff. but it's just probably not going to be what Netflix are going to want to put on there.
No.
Yeah, have the room for.
I mean, they've got the Wrestling Classic on there for crying out loud, so, you know.
They have, yeah, they have. I tell you what they haven't got, what I discovered the other day. I had someone is writing an article for a website at the minute.
I was going to say, we actually do have a professional journalist in our ranks now.
A professional paid-for journalist in our ranks now. I'm writing an article about the 10 shows to watch if you are a new fan getting into WWE as a result of having a Netflix subscription, but never really watched
If you say December to Dismember, you're going to get banned from this podcast.
No, this is what I was like kind of going, right, one entry, I was like, right, what would I do? And I was like, you got to kind of touch on ECW, but there's no obviously ECW shows on there. But there'll be One Night Stand 2005, which is like a good microcosm of what ECW was all about in like 2.5 hours. It ain't on Netflix. December 2006 is.
How weird.
And I'm just like, the fuck? If you type One Night Stand into UK Netflix at the minute, you get the poster of Kane with his pinny on. And then it says coming March. So I think they're adding it eventually, but it's not going to be straight away.
No, it's not straight away. But yeah,
so weird.
3 March is when they're adding it. But you know, I mean, we should be thankful that what's already on there is on there, because I think when they moved to Peacock in the US, it was like very limited for months, whereas we at least have
and a lot of stuff was Sensicles in that, I think.
Yes,
Peacock. They kind of like all the kind of early Raw stuff. Or the kind of early Vince Russo Attitude Era stuff, I think, was heavily redacted from what I can recall.
I mean, it's always the DX impersonating the Nation that is first to get chopped. Really,
always.
Yeah, that's probably not going to play well.
That's always gone. Even though X-Pac says that Mark Henry was in on the joke and thought it was hilarious.
Of course he was.
Yes. Great X-Pac. Collect another check for showing up at a pay-per-view.
Val Venus and Kai and Tai chopping off his PP make it there as well.
I still remember that whole thing, like, line by line, and I don't know why.
Just Sonny Ono just going, have your PP.
I think there's something wrong with me because I can recall that, yet I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Do you think Edge and Lita's live sex celebration have made it? So yeah, stuff like that might not make it to Netflix. I don't think they've got all the old Raws yet, have they? So to have to go through all that.
They've got a selection.
Yeah.
All right,
so there's like six or seven on some years and stuff. I mean, I'm sure the Piper Bad News one from WrestleMania 6 isn't on there.
No.
And I'm sure Big Boss Man getting hung is probably missing as well.
So weird. When you start saying these things out loud, it's like, my God.
Yeah, you kind of go, oh yeah, it did happen, didn't it?
It did happen.
Well, I can confirm that Super Tape 2 is now on the Vault page on YouTube.
Yep.
Yes, I was watching it last night. For it's got it's a belter of a Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Macho King Randy Savage match.
There's a few words you never thought you'd hear together in a sentence.
It is really good. It's good. It's only like 10 minutes long, obviously, but it's really, really good. You get insight into the Rockers, which is them just kind of going, "Hey, we like to party."
Just remember, Jim Duggan is a sponsor of this channel. Just remember that.
That's very true.
He is.
Anyway, I've got a special message for the Conquistabores. That's Cam, Euan, Phil, and of course, Hot Sauce Gordon Ale.
Our listener who sent in a message on his own volition, remember?
Yes.
I mean, once the payment cleared, he did it of his own volition.
You hush your mouth.
He always comes across as a good guy, Axel.
I've got.
Oh yeah.
What a lovely man.
So yeah, I mean, now we're living in a post-network world, and it's, I mean, I think it's still available in like Cambodia or something like that.
Some weird locations where it's still accessible.
If you fancy taking a holiday,
Germany have still got the network, I think.
In Cam, I think in South Korea they've still got the WCW portion of the network.
Wow.
Have they really?
Right.
Did you get that joke, Cam? No.
I did, yes, I did.
It's a bit of a private joke with me and Cam, that one, but there you go.
Perfect for the podcast.
Yes,
it would be like, remember the old days when like you first got Netflix, first landed here, and you could go into your DNS settings and change it and get access to the US library.
Yes.
Or change it and get access to the It'd be like that. You can like change your DNS settings and get access to Cambodian WWE network.
It's just all Kamala.
Oh, Jesus.
My God, can you even imagine?
I thought you would appreciate that Christmas gift, Euan, yes.
I did. Thank you very, very much.
I love
the trading
well,
cards were also 80 plus as well.
Well, what was funny, they were just a random bonus, and I had no idea who was in it. And then, of course, your favourite tag team was in it. I'm like, oh, he's getting these and all.
God damn it. that was much appreciated. But yeah, rest in peace, WWE Network. He will be missed.
Will be missed. Can I go with my Should I go with my favourite thing next?
Yeah, go for it.
I need to ask though, boys, for dispensation because it has to be favourite thing in the last 10 years brackets ish.
Oh, how much ish are we talking about?
Well, in my defence, the show was originally going to be done like last June or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And what I was going to pick would have been 2 months outside of the 10 years.
Right.
So obviously now we're in January 2025. It's now, it's a few more months outside it, but it would have been within the a buffer zone at the time. So I think I'm still allowed it.
Okay. We'll allow Phil to play with his buffer zone.
Yeah. Okay. So what it is the 2014 pay-per-view Extreme Rules pre-show, which gave us the absolute delights of the WLC match.
Our ring announcer Lillian has really changed. Thank God.
The following is a WLCC match.
There's so much stuff wrong with this. That's really bad.
The fact that
but also, it just puts such a big smile on my face, and it just kind of, in a lot of ways, it is daft professional wrestling in its highest form, and it's stupid. So, for those that don't know, WLC was a version of a TLC match, tables, ladders, and chairs, but with little people. And the focal point of the feud was Hornswoggle and El Torito.
Yes.
Who at the time, El Torito was aligned with Los Matadors, and Hornswoggle was aligned with 3MB. As we which, as we remember, contains 2 future heavyweight champions in the shape of Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre, and tag team champion Heath Slater was the 3-man band. And they put they had this match, which was just like, it's like part like a fever dream, and it seems like the worst kind of idea that Vince McMahon had, because he must have been backstage just like laughing like an idiot at the thought of having 2 little people wrestle and having a little person referee, and then the 3 little commentators as well, because you had Micro Cole, JB Elf, and Jerry the King Smaller on commentary team as well.
Oh God,
I don't remember this bit. This Jerry the King Smaller, dear.
Yeah. No, I do remember that. I do remember the commentary booth was also.
They had like a little announcers table in front of the big announcers table. But like, I think what makes it is the crowd are so into it when you watch it, because it's on the WWE Vault. They put the whole thing on there. I don't think it's the whole thing. I'm not sure if it kind of cuts away in the middle in the pay-per-view, or if it was in, because obviously I can't get, because the pre-show's not on the network. Go back onto that, so you can't see the pre-shows on there.
The match is available on WWE's own YouTube page. I've just found it.
Yeah, but about halfway through it kind of fades to black, and then it kind of comes back. I don't know if that was in the actual pay-per-view, or if the whole thing was live and they've done that as like an edit in the thing. Anyways. The crowd love it, because there's a point where El Torito gets out a chair and he's like, "No, this isn't right," and he pulls out like a little chair to hit him with.
It's like Raw. They're not calling the action.
Looking for something.
These commentators are any better. That suck. He's looking for a step stool now.
Oh my goodness!
There it is.
What are we looking for?
Look here.
El Torito has already got it. The first chair.
And then Hornswoggle gets out a ladder, which is like 2 steps, and he goes to Heath, "Nah, give me the big one," and gets like a ladder that goes up 3 steps or 4 steps or something. And the crowd are like, chanting, they're giving that "this is awesome" chants and all that sort of thing. But also some of the bumps that the guys take are just insane. Like, Jinder Mahal takes one of the most vicious looking bumps you'll ever see in your life.
What is going on? He's pulling his tail. Wrestlers not supposed to have tails.
Look out!
What a slobber knocker! I can't believe we are witnessing this.
there's 3 tables on the outside with 2 step ladders across it. And Jinder Mahal's on the apron. He gets lifted up onto the shoulders of the Los Matadors tag team and then gets cross-bodied by El Torito backwards through the ladders and the tables to the floor. And it's like...
Wow.
That probably didn't feel good.
No! It looks horrific. And then there's like Big Drew does a suicide dive outside the ring through a table. Heath goes through 4 tables to the outside. These guys are just like, it's like 10 minutes long on a pre-show for nothing, for literally nothing. There's no reason. This is like a blow-off feud between Hornswoggle and El Torito, a little person dressed as a bull. But somehow, I just love it.
You sound like it's strange.
It's just, I don't know. It's just brilliant because these guys like absolutely like almost kill themselves in 2 terrible it's just a whole ring full of terrible gimmicks during one of the worst periods of WWE. I think the rest of the pay-per-views isn't too bad. I don't think because it's the one where Daniel Bryan wrestled Kane in the main event, and it's like I think after this was when Daniel Bryan had to retire because his neck was really bad.
Yeah, that's because it was just after WrestleMania 30, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then you got the Shield versus Evolution on this as well. So you got some good bits on it, but like as like a starter to the thing, it's just insane. But like the way the crowd are into it is just brilliant. They respect what the guys are doing because they know they're there for just no reason at all. It's absolutely killing themselves.
Yeah, on a pre-show that they have to know that nobody's
watching. Nobody's watching this.
They're getting like stuff ready for the actual proper show, but
yeah, people are still filing in to the room. It's just god.
The beauty of that match was you just couldn't take your eyes off it because it was so, like you said, ridiculous. But the guys, all 6 of them there, worked their absolute asses off.
Yeah,
to get this absolutely ridiculous concept over. Yet now we're talking about it 11 years later.
It's going to live forever. WLC will live forever. even though it's not on the network, but it is on the YouTube channel. So there you go.
When did Drew get released again? Was that not 2014?
I don't feel like it was long after this, to be honest.
I don't think it was.
No.
Three-man band was the dumping ground for people that were about to get future endeavored.
Yeah. It was was it the Social Outcast around the same time? They were the other ones, weren't they?
Yes.
About 2014.
He turned up in ICW again at the tail end of 2014, didn't he?
Yep, he turned up at July 27th, 2014.
Yeah, so
he's Jack Jester.
He exactly went from WWE, put on about 50 pounds of hairy chest, and came back, didn't he?
Basically, yeah.
Well, he was only gone for 3 years because he's back in NXT in 2017. I think I remember right.
Yeah, he was doing ICW. He was wrestling in Evolve as well in the States. That obviously got in WWE's radar because of the Gabe Sapolsky link there. He also did a ton of stuff in the Indies as well. Like he was wrestling all over the place, like Germany for Westside Extreme. He was doing Preston. I'm sure he was in Rev Pro as well.
I think he was.
He was just all over the place. And obviously had a brief stint in Impact in TNA as well.
Yeah,
during that
he
time.
did. Yeah.
But yeah, and then he left TNA in 2017, and like you said, showed up at NXT Takeover Orlando.
Yeah,
and the rest is history.
Yeah, Jinder got but mostly like a big release in June because him and Jinder got released at the same time. So yeah, that was in June, and this match was in April. I think it was. Did I say it was April? I think I said it was April. Yeah, so only a couple of months after this. So these guys like absolutely killed themselves on a pre-show and then got released.
That was how Vince operated.
Yeah, it's absolutely shocking. Yeah, it was May, so it was literally like a month later they got released after this. What a way to go out with 3MB.
Yep.
Yeah, that's 10 years ish, but yeah, I love WLC.
Yeah, we'll grant it. We'll pass.
Thank you for the gracious opinion there, Cameron. That's appreciated.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. You seem concerned, so I thought I'd just ease your nerves there by saying it's
ease it in. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Who's going next?
I'll go next. So this is not going to be a surprise for anybody who knows me, but my favorite thing in the last 10 years has been the internet sort of evolution and the availability of different wrestling from across the world. as you know, I've got a very big Japanese sway. I've always kind of had it for the longest time. But it came to me the other day that New Japan World is just turned 10 years old. And New Japan World was the first proper sort of streaming service that a wrestling company in Japan had. They were streaming stuff before, but it was on like Nico Nico and other places as well. And it was very, very expensive, and it was just awful to try and get around because you were having to like translate pages and hopefully it was going to be translated correctly, etc. But with New Japan World launch, they just went, okay, here's what we've got. We're going to have pretty much everything that's ever had. Everything else will be live, and it's only going to cost you 999 yen, which at the time was around about, I want to say £6, I think. So for that price,
£6.49 when I paid for it.
There you go. So
it's still the same now, isn't it? Like, it's never gone up yen-wise. It's still the same, isn't it, I think?
No, it's gone up a little bit now. So they've changed how they do it. So in Japan, I think it costs something like 1,200 something, but anywhere outside of Japan, you pay $10 for it now. So it's about £8 now.
Still pretty good, though.
But the one thing that they got ahead of was English commentary. And for that, Kevin Kelly as well. Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton, who, I don't know if you guys have kept up with the Chris Charlton story of late.
Is this the guy that got fired after knocking AEW on commentary for the Kenny Omega match or something?
Yeah, he didn't so much knock them, he went full scorched earth, and it was amazing. But I knew at the time he was going to get flack for that, and he did.
He really, really did.
In hindsight, probably not his best move, but never mind. But it's the fact that I could easily just... Because beforehand, Cameron will know this, I would get DVDs from reputable sources.
You would, yes. Reputable sources.
Not eBay or torrents.
They would be acquired from places.
Exactly. They would be acquired. But yeah. But now...
I remember watching the Best of the Super Juniors 2016 that way. Magical package from Kilmarnock arrived.
Yeah. Right, just to digress again, the package from Kilmarnock sounds like either a wrestling move or someone's kind of like a ring announcement. And here comes to the ring, the package from Kilmarnock.
The package from Kilmarnock. Oh Christ!
Your own Kelly pie. Anyway, that's all right. They sort of opened up the door, so now we've got All Japan's got their own service. Dragon Gate's got their own service. DDT, Noah, Gambari Pro. Who else? Tokyo Joshi.
Well, I wrote that down as well. That's one of mine. I just put down like more wrestling because it felt like like after just like the network kind of dropped to the start of 2014, but then like say New Japan was like 2015, but then after that it seemed like everyone's kind of went, wait a second, you can do our own little video service, and they just kind of, it seemed like, I'm not sure there's a lot of them are still all about, but like they all just seem to like spring up, and you could just, everybody's network was essentially the same size, if that makes sense. Like it was all, you could all, same cost, same access, whatever, so everybody had the same kind of, was able to access the same audience, which was a great democratization of people that access to all these kind of random shows and things.
Yeah, because up to that point you had to either rely on getting a tape or getting a DVD at shows or finding a torrent or going on some very, very sketchy websites that may or may not disappear over time.
The iPay-per-views, whatever they were called.
Yeah, the iPay-per-view and the iStream, whatever it was. Or Ustream, that's what it was.
Yeah.
As well, but now, you know, I think the most expensive one I pay for is Dragon Gate, which I think is like 1,600 yen, but that works out to be about £9 a month, but that gets me at least 6 live shows a month, plus all the sort of big pay-per-view shows, plus English commentary, plus their entire back catalogue. So I was watching Pac from 2000, and when he came back, like debuted in Dragon Gate as this sort of absolute nutcase. And I still don't believe his abs are actually real, because they are incredible.
They could great cheese those abs.
They absolutely could. But I think just the fact that they sort of followed the WWE model, and then you've got places like, for example, in Germany, you've got WXW. They've got their service now on YouTube, but you can also do it, I think, through the website still. I don't know if they just moved all the way to YouTube, but you've got that. You've got other smaller indies as well. I mean, most places have somewhere where you could actively watch their product. And I just think the internet's just opened up so many different doors that you're no longer restricted by what's on TV, that it was easier to sort of explore and find different wrestling. So if WWE wasn't doing it for you, which back in 2014 it was not in the slightest, because it was
but 2014, 15, 16, it was just outside of NXT, it was terrible.
Yeah, the 2010s were a very rough decade for WWE.
Yeah.
And it's only really just sort of improved maybe in the last 2 years or so, I would say.
Yeah, post-pandemic, after they kind of came out of that.
We don't talk about the Thunderdome.
Exactly. Once they go into the Thunderdome and they can be in front of people again, it seemed like the quality just seems to be on an uptick ever since then, really.
Definitely.
Jeez, you watch like Thunderdome stuff now when you're like, fucking hell, this actually happened.
Well, it's just like the Fiend over and over again, so...
Well, yeah, it's the Fiend over and over again. There's some good stuff that happened in, like, you know...
Oh, yeah.
Not saying there's some good stuff that happened during the pandemic. That came out wrong.
Wow.
But, like, some good matches. Like, the Bayley-Sasha Banks Hell in a Cell match was fucking awesome, and that was in the Thunderdome.
Well, even, like, the WWE UK stuff with Walter and... was it Dragunov?
Ilya Dragunov, and Walter.
Yeah.
Lapping the crap out of themselves in an empty TV studio.
That was just their WXW feud taking over to NXT UK, and like you said, it was two men battering the shit out of each other to crickets.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Well, I was listening to a bit of Bobby Lashley on a podcast, and he because obviously they formed the Hurt, what was it called, Hurt Business during that. They were never in front of an audience. The whole run, the Hurt Business was never in front of an audience. And to say that out loud, mad. No, by the time the audience came back, they were split up and they were gone.
Wow.
Exactly.
I totally wouldn't have thought that. Oh my god, it's good. I'm so happy they're able to rerun it, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think just the availability of wrestling, and yes, people will complain, but everyone's got their own service, it's so expensive. No one's making you buy it. You find what flavour of ice cream, to quote on Mr. Brooks, that you enjoy. And that you pay for that ice cream. You don't need to bother with the rest of the ice cream, but maybe if you want to taste once in a while, you can subscribe for a month, see if you like it. You don't necessarily have to.
You can go somewhere else.
You can go somewhere else and try something else, and it's just the availability and the sort of agency to try and seek out different kinds of wrestling. So if the main things that the main promotions are doing are not working for you, you can watch All Japan, you can watch Big Japan, you can watch WXW, you can watch CMLL, which is now available on YouTube. So this the world of wrestling has got a lot smaller, but at the same time it's got a lot bigger, and I think that's probably my favourite thing in wrestling over the last 10 years. That and Vince McMahon finally get his comeuppance. Fuck him, I hope you burn in hell. Anyway, Cameron.
Well, we were getting to that one. I mean, to finish off on that point though, you know how like ECW died because effectively they couldn't find a TV deal, and that was it. Time up, no money.
The same reason for WCW as well.
Yeah, but it's like, do you think if like, you know, the internet had been a bit, I know we're talking like parallel dimensions here and all this kind of stuff, but if the internet and streaming had been like come along much earlier, do you think like WCW and ECW would have carried on?
ECW
like,
definitely, because that fan base was rabid enough to...
Yeah, ECW, yeah. Can you imagine like, you know, I'll pay $5 a month to watch ECW.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'd have gone for that, like, you know, tomorrow.
WCW had so many different problems besides TV that probably would have still died, given the endemic issues that company had.
Something would have come out of the wreckage, I think, but you know, something better than maybe what happened with it being absorbed into the WWF. But ECW definitely that fan base was rabid enough and passionate enough. They would have put down whatever Paul Heyman asked them to pay for their streaming service at the time if it was available.
Just one question: Is our friends up north in Scotland? Have they still got their streaming service?
What, ICW?
Yeah.
Because
I subscribed to that for a little while. Yeah.
Are they on Fight Network? Are they not still on Triller or whatever it is?
They're on. Yeah, they're on. They're on Triller TV powered by Fight. That's what they're on there.
Yeah.
That's where AEW is as well, isn't it? Yeah.
That reminded me a bit of the ECW with its, its unique fan base and things like that.
That's a term, unique fan base.
Well, I guess it is that sort of ECW sort of wrestling, isn't it? To a degree,
it was the counterculture. It was the we'll do the things that others can't or won't do for whatever reasons. And sadly, because of what happened over the last 10 years, they're now very much playing to much, much dwindled crowds now because, WWE came in, raped and pillaged, took the talent they wanted, and left the dregs for the industry to try and recover from.
Some good shows there.
Quick summation of WWE UK there.
I'll never forget the night Finn Balor came. I was like, God, my brain's died on these actually. Fergal Devitt randomly appeared at a show at the O2 in Glasgow. I lost my mind because he'd just left New Japan at this point.
Yeah.
And that was when he was doing his indie tour before he started at WWE, wasn't it? Yeah.
He was doing his tour of the Indies before he went off to the big show.
Well, you kind of alluded to what point I was going to put forward, and that's Vince finally fucks off.
My notes is the death, resurrection, and death again of Vince.
It's not even like he's gone this time. He is gone. There is no coming back.
Yeah, you say that, but I mean, if we examine who's going to be president in about 2 weeks' time, and able to give out presidential pardons, I don't think he's going to have much in the way of comeuppance for his doings that he is alleged to have engaged in.
He's disappointed the special Hollywood ambassadors of John Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone, as special ambassadors to Hollywood. I'm sure Vince is going to get some kind of special role at some point because I'm sure isn't Linda part of the?
Linda's part of the. Yeah,
Linda's something about for the board of small businesses or something like
that. Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like that small business corner shop, called WWE that they had.
Exactly. Yeah. Trump appreciates a good mustache, so he's definitely going to bring Vince in with that one he's got. Has he still got that kind of?
I really hope he did get rid of that mustache because he looked like a 1950s villain.
He did like somebody who would tie somebody to a train track. That's what he looked like.
I'm so glad you said train track. I'm so glad you said train track because that could have went a lot darker.
You've gone in a lot of directions, but yeah, the Vince needed to go when he
needed to go 20 years before he actually went.
Yeah. When his limousine blew up, that's when he should have gone.
God, that angle!
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's Paul London ruined. I've just remembered about Paul London smiling his fucking ass off.
He just can't help himself. He just catches all these L's.
Yes, it's just...
Go Eldon.
Oh no, that's brilliant.
But anyway, have to watch that again now.
Oh jeez. So yeah, Vince McMahon. Oh God, how can one company keep grinding on with one man's iron grip round its neck?
Well, it's his company is the problem, isn't it?
It was
exactly. But it's just like I mean, I think part of the reason. And we'll talk more about AEW in a minute, but I think part of the reason why AEW was such a breath of fresh air in 2019 was the fact that you had Vincified WWE to watch instead. If you
yeah, 100%.
And it's just and it just he announces his retirement in July 2023,
something like that. That he's back at the end of the year, isn't he?
He's gone for about 8 months, I think, because he kind of forced his way back in again. Effectively telling the shareholders that they really need to vote him back in because he's the only man that can negotiate them a TV deal.
That's right, and the sale as well.
And the sale as well. They negotiate the deal for Netflix. TKO come on board, and
the merger with
UFC and things like that for like a sports live event package, and then it's within about 5 days Vince is heave-hawed back out again.
Yeah, I think because that's when the Janelle Grant stuff started to come to the surface again.
Yeah,
which is
and he's
still
awaiting that to go to trial. Or thinking, right, yeah,
yes,
which I don't think it now ever will.
Obviously, the most frustrating thing is that like it had to get to that point for them to finally get rid of him.
I mean, absolutely, because there's no incentive to get rid of him before, because they had ample opportunities to do that. Like, even through history, the Mel Phillips incident should have been the end of it there and then, given how they responded to it.
Yeah, but it was always his company. Like there was nobody above him to hoof him out the door, was there? Until obviously when the company goes public in
99.
Yeah, 2000, whenever it was, when they kind of became they became more beholden to shareholders. There's more chance of that, but he was always the majority shareholder. He was never going to let go of it because why should he? It's his.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's his plaything.
And it was literally his plaything. Like he would, it was literally just do what he wanted with it, which is, how we end up with stuff like WLC. As much as I love it, like that's that should never have happened because it just makes no. It's a stupid idea, but it's a stupid idea that was made good by good wrestlers and Hornswoggle. Little take.
That's
harsh. I'll take that back.
Look, he's vertically challenged. There's no need to pick in his wrestling ability.
It's just like a bit where El Torito tries to get him in a small package, and he literally just kind of they just go sideways. Like he just can't even bend over because his back's so messed up at that point. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. Vince is a what did I write down? He was a bad egg and needed to go. Put it mildly.
I think it's also opened up WWE to far more success now that he's gone.
Yeah, would Penta have ever signed with WWE if Vince was still there?
He'd be wearing a sombrero if he did.
No, we're not doing another Kerwin White situation again.
Can I ask you into Wiki Lucha House Party to see what would have happened to him?
Oh, yes. Oh, God.
Yep, Mexico would have come down the ring riding a lawnmower. Right. That would have been the fate of Penta.
Yeah.
And then they would have had Rey Fenix in there eventually, and he would have been like,
dressed as tackle.
Oh, we can turn him into the next Rey Mysterio. That's where he is.
Yeah.
And he would have had Rey Mysterio to walk to the ring with him and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And it would have been awful. But yeah, there's loads of little bits like that. I mean, there was, loads of people, if they signed for WWE when Vince was still in charge. Holy sweet mother of God, can you imagine?
And half of them wouldn't have even got signed because Vince would take one look at them and go, no, you're not big enough. Or
if you look at how all the kind of the people who were massively over on NXT, how they were dealt with when they came up onto the roster, very few of them were able to kind of get through that barrier, or just had to kind of chip away for years to kind of get any kind of traction with them because it's just
and before you know it, you're on 205 Live wrestling to 3 people in the crowd.
Remember when he was big on, or WWE were big on signing Okada?
Yes. And that was the most terrifying period of my life.
I think. Can you even imagine?
I mean, what he's doing in AEW right now isn't exactly lighting the world on fire, but it's a million times better than it would have been in WWE.
Well, he seems happy, at least.
He's cashing in a large paycheck and not doing a lot, so yeah, I'd be happy too.
Doing his promos and occasionally just, in Japanese, but occasionally just reverting to English to go, bitch.
I pressed the wrong button. I'm so sorry! Bitch.
Those are quite funny, though, to be fair.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is it. It's true. So yeah, Vince going away, then that's going to be my first entry.
So is Alan going to have another go?
Alan!
Oh, well, since we got round and no one's mentioned the network again, I'll go about the network. I've done all the old Coliseums, so next we're going to move on to the old primetime wrestling.
Oh, yes.
Now these were superb. I'll tell the story in a minute, but these are so good. There's sadly the later ones are missing. There's right. I had this memorized literally. All of 85's on there. Start from April 86. Then you've got 87, 88, 89. I think you've got most of 90, but then you've got one episode in 1991. and then 2 episodes in 1992. And in fact, I think there's only about 4 or 5 in 1990. Yeah, the back end of it was missing.
I didn't think that Primetime went on as long as 92.
The last episode is January 93, the week before Raw starts.
There you go.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But Monsoon and Heenan were so good on it. So good. It's ridiculous sometimes, the pair of them, yeah. They really struck a good thing there. It has various storylines goes on, various little skits. You know, there was once upon a time where they tried to get the Brooklyn Brawler over as a proper wrestler.
What do you mean? He was a proper wrestler?
Wow.
Well, you know what I mean, as in not a job guy. Where when he first debuted, he assaults Gorilla Monsoon with a stool. Yeah.
Of course he would. What other weapon would you use as a wrestler other than a stool?
Yeah, so that was a little skit, but no, I wanted to watch as much of them as possible before the network gone, and I was watching the network till the very end. I was.
Oh bless.
Yeah, I was still there at midnight on January. It was January 1st, and waiting for it, and it went 12:15. It finally gave up the ghost. I was very sad. Although bizarrely, there was still some other shows I could watch. It was bizarre. Couldn't watch Primetime anymore, or the videotapes. But randomly, like WrestleMania 34 was on there, and like Royal Rumble 2015 or something was on there, which I could watch. But by the time I woke up in the morning, it was all gone.
All gone.
Yeah.
One good thing about all that going, it was going to make editing the shows a little bit easier because I just kept going down rabbit holes trying to find stuff.
I'm like that. Yeah.
It's like I remember, I think that we were doing a show when Cameron referred to a specific Ric Flair promo, and I ended up watching about 4 episodes, well, more than that, of WCW Thunder, trying to find the right show that had the right promo on it to capture the audio from it.
Does that be fair to Flair?
Yeah, trying to find out was a swine. But it took me that lengthened the editing time by about a good hour and a half because I was literally I've got to find the audio. It's got to be somewhere. I can't do it now. Just can't do it because it's not there anymore. It's fine. I'm free. I can do half the job now. It's fine.
You've been freed from the shackles of having to find obscure quotes.
Exactly. I know there was one about Bobby Heenan describing Andre the Giant, I think, and I was trying to find that, and that was it the Titan, the chat show thing they did. Oh, what was it called?
Tuesday Night Titans.
Tuesday Night Titans, yeah, TNT.
I think I watched about 8 episodes of that in the lead up to one of the WrestleManias, trying to find the right clip from. It's when Heenan was training with up against the super. Was it what were they called? The super machines.
Oh, the machines, yeah.
It was that, and he was describing what the super machine is like. It's definitely Andre. I was trying to find that one clip, and I was watched literally about 10 of them trying to find the right thing. It was just a nightmare. But I can't do it anymore. It's fine. I'm free.
Hooray! Yay. Bill can finally see the sunlight uplands.
I could do half a job and just get out the door. It's fine.
Nice. Don't bother making it decent, Christ.
Exactly. I'm free. I was writing down loads of random things and some thoughts and stuff. And one thing I put down was I think it kind of connected to that proliferation of wrestling in the year 2015, that sort of thing. It was when AJ Styles left TNA.
Oh yeah.
Get ready to fly.
Everybody thought expected him to go somewhere, or because I don't know if he would have gone to WWF at the time where they were interested in him, but he went to the Indies and he spent a year or so proving that you could actually make top money as an indie wrestler. And I think a lot of the stuff that he did there kind of underpins that indie boom that followed, because you've got I think Pro Wrestling Tees started a bit before that, and that kind of democratized the ability for wrestlers to make money through merchandise that having to kind of cart everywhere. There was a website people could go to, and then AJ Styles going to there, going across to New Japan and becoming part of Bullet Club and all that sort of stuff. I think it really kind of lit a fire under all the indie wrestlers. Just kind of go, wait a second, we can really kind of get there's an audience there we can capture that we can earn just as much as if we were at a big company. And obviously, that's where, I suppose after that, the Young Bucks really started to make money for themselves off the t-shirts and that sort of thing. And then I can't remember when Cody left WWF. I feel like it was after AJ Styles joined WWE. That was when Cody left, or whatever. Was it 2016, 2017 when he left? Maybe a bit later than that.
Cody would have. I think he had a good couple of years.
Maybe 18.
So I want to say 2017.
Yeah.
Because obviously 2019 he starts AEW.
Yeah, but he was like the kind of like left the WWE and kind of followed that AJ Styles model of like going on to the indies, going on all these shows, just making a name for yourself, getting your merch out there and making money. I think but a lot of the work that kind of supported all those wrestlers that kind of ended up becoming part of AEW, a lot of it is underpinned by the stuff that AJ Styles did back in 2015. I really think not only was he like probably at like kind of the height, near enough at the height of his powers, like all his matches with Tetsuya Nakamura in New Japan, they were amazing.
They were great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like all his work then was fantastic, but I think a lot of the stuff he was doing as like on the business side really kind of opened the eyes of other wrestlers to kind of go, wait a second, we don't have to chase the WWF with the tools we've got now, with these the networks that are kind of popping up for the other companies and the merchandise opportunities we can do through the internet. You can find your audience and make your money and not have to kind of worry about catching Vince's eye. And I think that really kind of opened up a lot of independent wrestling for better quality wrestlers to make more money.
Yeah. There's you've got Matt Cardona now as well, haven't you? Who is the self-confessed king of the indies.
I think, you kind of go back a little bit further. You got, Eddie Guerrero went off, was it 6 months so he spent on the indies, kind of, showed that he was back in track and came back to WWF.
Yep.
So it always seemed like you kind of go away for a little bit and, get back into the Federation to make your money. But I think what AJ Styles proved was you don't necessarily have to do that. You can stay on off the indies, get your pro wrestling tees out there, make your money through that, sell some merch, and make a living. Make a proper comfortable living that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do 2, 3, 4 years before that.
Yeah.
So God bless AJ Styles.
Yes. I mean, he put himself through hell, physically in TNA to get his name over, and now he's reaping the benefits of that now. He's not having to put himself quite through the same level of physical torture as he did back then.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it showed people that WWE is not the end game. If you don't make it there for whatever reason, there are other places you can go. There's other avenues. You're not just stuck in like one place just having to make do.
Yeah, I feel like when he left TNA, like it was a surprise that he wasn't going anywhere else. Like there wasn't like a contract lined up for him to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
He just went, you know what? Let's just go on the circuit and let's see what I can do. And he just kind of set a model that other wrestlers could follow to kind of go, right, if we kind of do this and work this kind of way, then there's money to be made out there. We can do things outside of the WWF and don't have to worry about it. And I think that just kind of like that kind of a mindset is what kind of ferments is the wrong word. I can't think of the right word, but kind of percolates and kind of in 4 or 5 years gives you AEW, that kind of place where the independent wrestling is so big it can support a second company.
I still remember the night he popped up in the 2016 Rumble though when he came into WWE in the first place.
Oh yeah,
that was wild.
That was nuts because you were kind of like, it was just like I think is he not still the only guy to do a Wrestle Kingdom and a WrestleMania in the same calendar year?
I think he still holds that distinction.
Yeah, because he did the Wrestle Kingdom in the January, then appeared at the Royal Rumble, then it was at WrestleMania, whatever it was.
When Jericho did it, he'd left, hadn't he?
I was in a walkabout in Glasgow watching that Royal Rumble, quite inebriated. And when AJ came out...
Not that bad.
Well, Cameron, I believe me and you were also with him.
That's correct,
yes. Well, that's what I'm saying, he wasn't that bad.
That wasn't that bad. I was a lot worse at ECW One Night Stand. Ask Lisa for that story. Oh, that was a very long, drunken evening. But yeah, the place just went absolutely berserk because everyone was talking about it and everyone thought, oh, we'll see what happens. Then he appeared and everyone just lost it, and it was just one of those moments.
Who could forget Roman Reigns' face during that moment?
Kind of screws up his eyes if to kind of go, who dat?
Because they don't focus on the screen like they're supposed to. They just focus on Roman Reigns. Yeah.
No, I think it was one of those things of like you're not sure where the pop starts. It's probably everyone kind of works out who it is when the word phenomenal appears.
Well, the problem is, I think us at home were supposed to see that, but we just see Roman Reigns' face. So we're just at the end of the phenomenal bit. I think they should have. The plan was for them to cut to the actual screen, not just close up on Roman Reigns for the entrance. Yeah,
I actually think it's funnier. It was just Roman Reigns' face.
Yep.
Just like an extreme close up of this gentleman. It's like, all right.
Rather than like AJ Styles Titantron promo, it's like just Roman Reigns' face. That's his intro video. Roman Reigns' face, like, what?
Just his face.
Just his face for the entire promo. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Shall I go for it? Right, where are we? We kind of touched on this at the start, actually, but I'm going to say the introduction of All Elite Wrestling, AEW.
There we go.
As a viable second company in North America with actual money behind it that can provide a safe, sort of, well, not a safe working environment for CM Punk. You know what I mean?
Not for their lives.
Not for the dog either. You know, that can. You know, basically, competition for the WWE essentially is what was sorely needed.
It was so messed, wasn't it? Ever since WCW fell apart, like there was nothing to push them. You know, you had
nope.
What were the next? The closest was probably TNA and Ring of Honor were the kind of other two companies that had anything, but they weren't pushing WWF to get to be better, were they? They were just in the background somewhere.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And you go back to those first few AEW shows, loud as anything, they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know it's kind of lost a lot of steam now, at the minute. And I know there's people, the traffic started to go kind of two ways now. It was always like that whole thing of, XYZ wrestler leaves WWE because they're fed up of Vince. And within a few days, it was like, such and such is All Elite. And that little graphic would be there, and it was great. And then they would pop up at wherever, there was loads of them at the time. There was like, Rusev, who became Miro in AEW, was one of the major ones. Aleister Black became Malachi Black, obviously, in AEW. And they would be able to carry on there. Samoa Joe as well. Samoa Joe came over. Who else I'm thinking of successful? Tony Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Who I still think would never in a million years have had the character work on show as she does now in AEW if she'd stick it out in WWF and WWE rather. WWF.
You wouldn't have had time with Tony Storm, would you? Like it with the black and white vignettes and all that would never.
No, not at all. It would have just been absolute nothing to it. She would have still had to keep on with like the Rock.
You wouldn't have Tony Storm cutting a promo from her palatial apartment in Florida complaining about the weather and then calling herself the Lucha Bitch, I think it was.
I think it was her opponent in CMML. I can't remember who it was, but she called herself the Lucha Whore.
That was it. Yes.
And then she, that was the promo that starts with, as you can see, I'm wet and not in the fun kind.
Not the fun kind.
Yes.
Like, Jesus.
It's like, wow, she's going straight in.
Straight in there, yeah.
No foreplay here, going right in.
No, but she's great. I mean, I know we're sidetracking here with Tony Storm, but to do what she's doing now, where she resurrects an old gimmick, but has no memory of what's come before.
Yeah, that's kind of wacky.
It's mental. It's out there. It's really, really funny. She got some award from some magazine that Renee Paquette gave her the other day. And she was like, best of, such and such in 2024. And she's there kind of going, but I've only had 2 matches.
Okay.
She's a newcomer. She's a newcomer to wrestling.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Yeah, she's a newbie, and all of a sudden she's getting thrust into these high-profile positions. I mean...
Crazy.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to think of, Adam Cole, AEW, when he turned up. It's weird to think that Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson appeared on the same night within about 2 minutes of each other.
Yeah, it's nuts.
At oh god, what was it? Was it
was it an all in or an all out? Or
it was all in. Yeah, it was all in 2021.
I think it was.
Yeah, and it's stuff like that, and it's just like those AEW shows were incredible. And as I say, I think it's whilst WWE were putting on, The Fiend versus Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell.
Ugh. Oh god, that match! Oh.
Yeah, it was the right time. Like they had the right kind of mix of people at the right time to really kind of stand apart and draw in an audience.
Yeah, and I mean, as I say, I know that like any kind of company, it's had its ups and downs at the minute, and I'd say AEW are definitely on a bit of a downer at the minute, but I think they're coming back up again now. But I think we need to appreciate that they're a company that's only 5 years old, and don't have the history to fall back on that the WWE do. It's called WWF again. What's going on?
Leave the memories alone.
Leave the memories alone. But it's like, I think we need to appreciate who AEW have lost over the last year or two.
Cody.
Sting has retired. Cody's gone back to WWE. CM Punk, regardless of what you think about him, he was a big name for them. And yes,
when you think about that, it's the last dance or the first dance when he showed up in Chicago. Like that's probably like you would probably put that as like the high watermark for their.
Oh god,
they've ever done.
But he was never even advertised for that.
Nope.
They sold out the Allstate Arena in Chicago based on a rumor.
Yeah, rumor and speculation.
That was it. And I mean, if he wasn't there, you could easily have just said, well, we never advertised him.
Yeah.
And it would have been fun.
He was going to be there. You just assumed he was going to be there.
You just assumed he was going to be there. Thanks for buying a ticket. And it's stuff like that. So they lose CM Punk. To a lesser extent, they lost Kenny Omega to injury and illness for a long, long time. I know he's come back in the last week or two.
Yeah.
For stuff like that. The Young Bucks aren't quite the force they were at the minute. They've kind of taken a back seat as well.
So we started off really good with them being like the evil EVP. Started off really well, but just kind of petered out quite quickly, which is a bit of a shame.
I still wish they never did that because it was never really going to work properly because they really couldn't. To me, it just felt like a WWE Vince angle. The whole evil owners thing. It just never vibed with me at all, and it just really put me off more than anything else.
They like repackaged. They kind of dress differently. They repackage themselves differently. They kind of work that angle really well. But yeah, I kind of get. I see your point. Like it's that idea of a bad authority figure never really works because you're never going to be Stone Cold and Vince. Like that chemistry is never going to be there again. Like you're going to have to be very lucky for that to be happening again. So it's always difficult to try to replicate that. But
it's not just that as well. But for heel owners, I'm always a bit like, right, surely as an owner of the company, you want the company to be a success. So if you're a heel owner, why are you doing shit that pisses off the fans?
Yeah, exactly.
It's always a bit like, it seems counterproductive.
Yeah.
It's in your interest to provide a product that your fans are going to want to enjoy and pay money to watch and travel to your shows. And right now, AEW can't even sell like enough tickets to fill up these really small venues that they're doing. And obviously, they've got their Australian show coming up, which I don't know if you've seen the sort of news regarding that. They were advertising it. Oh yeah, it's going to air live at 8 p.m. on TNT, but at the same time, it's the NBA playoffs and All-Star weekend, and that ain't going to get moved. So
yeah, that's not going to happen, is it?
It's like, get your shit together, guys. And there's been a lot of examples of that. But yeah, like you said, Cameron, it's good that we have a number 2 that pushes the number 1 to be better, and vice versa. You know, WWE's success is also AEW's success, but at the same time, it's AEW's motivation we want to get that. But my counterpoint to that is you don't want to become WWE light, and I really feel that AEW has fallen into that trap of we want to be just like them. They were their own thing for the first 3 or so years. They were their own thing. They had their own vibe. They had their own talent. They had their own way of doing things. And slowly but surely, they've evolved into doing a lot more things like WWE. And that, to me, is a big turnoff because I don't particularly like WWE TV, I find it monotonous and horrifically boring. Whereas AEW had a different way of doing things and had a different way of presenting wrestling. And the fact is that they would open up shows with a match, which was like rare for TV wrestling anyway. Whereas a lot of the time now they're opening up with an opening promo, and to me that's just insta skip. I sat through a decade of Triple H opening up every single fucking show with a 25-minute diatribe about how big his dick is or whatever it was he was talking about that week. And I don't want that from my wrestling. I want wrestling, and AEW was doing that for the longest time, but they've fallen into that trap of we want to be like the big boys. It's like, be yourself and the success will come. It was coming, but that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're picking back up now. We've got Mox with the Death Riders. I'm always a bit like never sure what the Death Riders are actually fucking standing for. It's like
I don't think they know, which is a problem.
We like to have real sort of like proper fighting and wrestling. And it's like, well, yeah, and it's a bit like.
It's what they're doing are actual crimes, Cameron. They're actually doing attempted murders. I think you'll find.
Well, yeah, indeed, but it's like,
it's like an actual crime. Like you put a bag over his head, that's attempted murder. They should get a constable in to get him arrested. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. But
it needs to be resolved through the courts of law.
There's a lot of good stuff in AEW, and I think it will click again eventually. But I find myself, I used to watch Dynamite on a fairly sort of semi-regular basis, and I haven't watched Dynamite in about a year or so.
Same. I'll catch up and I'll read the recaps and maybe look at a video or two on YouTube if there's a particular segment or angle I want to see. But for the most part, it's not appointment television for me, and that's a big problem. If you want to get me invested in the stories,
I think your biggest giveaway between the fortunes of AEW is their first Wembley show in comparison to their second.
Yeah, there you go.
And the reason why they haven't gone for a third this year.
No, they're doing Forbidden Door instead, which should probably do which should do better.
Oh, Forbidden Door will do really, really well. You know what I mean? Forbidden Door will do awesome stuff. You know what I mean?
But you mentioned as well, like one of the best bits of that I wrote down as my like a random thing as well was like the whole thing with Sting. Like I don't think a company's managed.
Phil, damn it! You've stolen one of my points.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
We could like segue into that, but the whole way they managed his the kind of his twilight of his career was I don't think any company's done it quite as well as that.
No one has, because it was done with respect, it was done with care, and at the end of the day, it ended in a satisfactory manner. I mean, I will never forget that cinematic match with Darby Allin. That was wild.
Yeah, totally.
What, the Sting and Darby versus Brian Cage and Hobbs?
Yeah, that one.
That one, yeah.
Which was absolutely wild. But
really good.
Even still, like on our odd week of Dynamite, you would have like Hobbs and that going up the aisle, and then all of a sudden Sting's diving off the top of the entranceway. It's like,
oh yeah, he was still going.
Oh yeah, he'd still go.
The way Sting would just like it was just you just couldn't believe it, because like he showed up as like Darby Allin's wrestling dad. And he just,
yes, that's what I refer to him as.
Whenever his son was in trouble, he would just dive off the nearest high thing to rescue him. And I just kind of look at him and go, "You're right, son. I'm away for a pint," and off he'd go.
Yep.
It's like the wrestling version of Batman. He's always in the shadows waiting,
jumping off the entryway whenever he feels like it. And it's like, but you're like 60-something, Sting. What the hell are you doing?
But I think that he understood that this was his last sort of hurrah, so fuck it, let's go for it.
Yeah, but I think the fact that like they didn't overuse it, like that would probably only happen 2 or 3 times a year, which kind of made the impact
absolutely
of it so much better.
Yeah, totally. Making it seem like an event, if you know what I mean. Not just like, oh, here's Sting, he's back again. Where it's like, oh shit, here's Sting. We've not seen him properly in a couple of months. He might have done some like promos, but actually in the ring in a match, it was a novelty almost to see him.
Whenever he showed up, like everybody just kind of went, "Oh, holy shit, Sting!" Like, oh my god.
The music would start. Tony Schiavone would shout, "It's Sting," and you knew it was on at that point, because the snow started to fall. Sting would appear. He'd the bat, and you knew somebody was going to get messed up.
Yeah. His son's in trouble. He's going to go rescue him. And the fact they never went down the route of like, that kind of happened. I was like, okay, at some point, Alan, like he's turning on Sting at some point, right? That's going to happen. He's going to turn on his dad. But no, he never did because he's his dad.
No. Exactly.
And the key thing was as well, it was never like a case of Sting over Sean Darby.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was always like, I think what made it is the fact that when they were in tag matches, they were in tag matches. But when Darby was doing single stuff, Sting was there, but he was letting Darby do all the stuff he would usually do, kind of thing.
He'd only intervene if he saw he was in trouble or he was getting double teamed or whatever the case might be, but he would just be sort of there as backup / encouragement, because in a lot of ways Darby is a younger Sting in many different ways, and I think that's why that whole road to retirement worked so well, because it was essentially Sting passing the baton, pardon my French, to Darby Allin, saying, okay, I'm now done, I can't do this anymore, go on and do your thing, over to you, do what you do. And knowing Darby Allin, he's absolutely mental crazy. I think he's climbing Kilimanjaro right now, or is just about to start.
Mount Everest, I think he's climbing, because he was
it's Everest, sorry, not Kilimanjaro.
Was it last year, the year before? But I think he got injured.
They broke his foot, I think.
Yeah. The fact that they managed to stick the landing on that road to retirement as well, because that could easily have gone off the rails.
A train wreck.
So it could have happened. But no, they pulled it off, and like the whole thing with them getting the belts and then winning, the last match, winning it. I think everybody thought they were going to drop the belts, but now them retaining it was the right thing to do, and it kind of the way that it ended was just perfect.
Yeah, the whole thing had a satisfactory ending, and in the same way as well, Daniel Bryan, Jesus, altogether, Bryan Danielson's road to retirement as well wasn't quite as successfully done, and this was going to be my next sort of thing I've really enjoyed, that we've had satisfactory closures to people's careers. We've had Bryan Danielson wrap up his sort of full-time schedule. Yes, he was choked out with a plastic bag in the middle of the ring, but we'll ignore that bit.
We'll ignore the attempted murder for now, that's fine.
Oh yeah.
We'll ignore the murder part.
I mean, for him of his moment of winning the title at Wembley.
Oh yeah, totally.
He's great.
That was great, and that was done at the right time. They didn't miss the peak on that. But I think and also as well, we had things like Keiji Muto finally retiring, and this time actually retiring, not just I'm going to retire, I'll be back in 2 months. It's like, no, he's actually done. And I saw that show in Wrestle Universe pay-per-view, and it was a spectacle, and it was always going to be a spectacle because it's Keiji Muto, for crying out loud. And obviously the Great Muta, which is obviously his other alter ego, he had the match with Sting and Darby Allin in Noah as well. And I think just getting a satisfactory conclusion and not just having... We went through a period of time where we lost a lot of wrestlers very young or very untimely through illness, substance use, mental health issues. Like, you think about like when the first time Daniel Bryan had to retire, or Edge had to retire, they just like they weren't able to cap a career properly, were they? They just kind of no, you're done, you've got to leave, and it just kind of there was no closure. There was no closure. It was just ripped out of your hands, and I really do appreciate that they have been able to tell their stories and conclude it on their own terms, and also at the same time helping the company that they're representing at the time as well grow as well, because I think Sting's retirement was probably one of the biggest pay-per-views they've done as far as
pretty sure
Revolution. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just for me, being somebody who's watched wrestling for a long time at this point, it felt good to be able to be part of that moment, to be there. While I wasn't there in the building, I was there, and in my own way, I was
spiritually.
I was witnessing I was witnessing the end of a career, but it was the end of a career that they chose to end because they knew they really couldn't do it anymore. It wasn't just something that was
forced on them. It was like, no, this is how I want to go out. This is how I choose to do it, sort of thing. Yeah, which very rarely happens, does it? I suppose when you think about it.
Exactly, it's usually death, injury, or both.
Yeah, you just don't know when to quit.
Oh God! Ric Flair's last match.
You literally just will not listen to rational people and just carry on going for no reason whatsoever.
I watched that match once. I will never watch that match again because it's probably one of the saddest things I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
It's
not wrong.
The easiest way to piss on your legacy, isn't it? Jesus.
I mean, and Ric Flair's pissed on his legacy a good few times at this point. not urine soaked at this point in time.
Drowning. He saw the bath with his legacy urine.
There's my wrestling legacy. It's in the bath. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, like, just to go off on a tangent at one point, you know, who's done it worse, Mick Foley or Ric Flair?
Because both of them well, Flair, easy.
Both of them had perfect opportunities to retire, just wouldn't stop, just kept coming back.
It was too good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no
one's sitting there kind of going, you know, Foley's not sat there, you know, with 4 ex-wives lumbering around a ring.
That's
you
true.
know, desperate for a paycheck. It's Flair that's doing all that shit.
That is a tremendous way of describing him, lumbering, because that's exactly what he was doing.
Whilst having a heart attack and dying in the ring.
God. Yeah, that. Jesus, just give it up, man. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't know how to stop. But yeah, that was my kind of point, is just being able to witness closure and get that, because for me, I still remember vividly the night Eddie Guerrero passed away. I came back from a show in Kilmarnock and I clicked on my phone and I just remember just freezing because I couldn't believe what I was reading. That somebody that I really, really enjoyed, and obviously he had his demons in the past as well. He was gone, and that was it. Yeah. There was no goodbye. There was no thanks for everything. It was just he's gone, and obviously I can't go without mentioning Chris Benoit. That was a whole roller coaster of emotions, but the raw sort of one at the time of holy shit, he's gone, and then obviously as the weeks went on, discovering that he actually successfully killed his entire family and then took his own life. That's the completely different story altogether. That goes back to the whole thing about CTE and just not going out in a good way or on your own terms, but people like Sting and Bryan Danielson were able to do that because they had the agency and also they had the smarts as well. Wrestlers are not always the smartest people when it comes to admitting when they're done. You know, Ric Flair's the poster boy for that.
Like, I suppose, you know, you just used the whole approach of the old days. Like, wrestlers weren't necessarily able to retire because they had to keep earning the money.
Exactly.
Whereas, you know, these guys, they're in a position where, you know, they've been able to kind of get enough money or, you know, get enough of it or whatever behind to kind of go, you know what, I don't need to do this anymore. Everything else is more important.
Yeah. Sting hasn't been stupid with his money. You know, Flair has been stupid with his money. So therefore,
Flair just kept pumping his money away.
Steady. I'll put money.
Whoa.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that was going, Euan. Didn't know where that was going.
But yeah, I think that was, for me, definitely something that's been a positive over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah,
absolutely. Any more? Because we're approaching the hour and a half mark.
I've got another random one. I've got like a lightning round of stuff. But
right, go for it.
I want to mention it's kind of two things really. It's kind of it's a Roman Reigns bloodline run, but more specifically the video that Super Eye Patch Wolf did about it. Was it about a year ago?
It was about a year ago, yeah.
Because that video is one of the best videos about wrestling I've ever seen. As everyone's done, it's fantastic. Have we all seen it? I
don't think I've seen that, Phil.
Yes.
No.
I enjoy Eye Patch Wolf's stuff, but sometimes I get really annoyed with his imitation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that,
when he's talking about horror, he has a habit of stretching out his sentences.
Are you trying to say now he's a fan of Garth Marenghi?
No, well, maybe, but he's not making videos on YouTube.
The emotion of it, and that's got kind of
his stuff's excellent, but
But this is like he kind of talks about how It's called The Unreality of Pro Wrestling, and it's talking about how Roman Reigns' career went at that point in 2016 where he wins the Rumble and gets booed, and then how that affects him. That, as you know, that is all character-based stuff, but then that all affects him in real life because he's at the peak of his, he's at the peak of his company, at the peak of his career, of his profession, and like everybody hates him, and it's all gone wrong. And then how that feeds into his reality, and then feeds back into the unreality of it when he comes back as the tribal chief. Because all that is built on, you didn't want me, you all hated me, I'm just going to beat everybody up and would take everything from you all because you need to understand that I'm the best at this. And it kind of explores that whole kind of thing about how, the unreality of the wrestling affects the reality, but then it all feeds back into itself as like a kind of crazy feedback loop and kind of creates this character that we get at the end of the tribal chief. And it's a brilliant video.
It's fantastic. I will check that. The one thing I was going to say is a lot of wrestlers in the past have tried to do that whole, you didn't want me, you didn't respect me, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times it doesn't work and it doesn't take, and the fans just peel over it. But I think, however he did it, Roman Reigns managed to get that connection with the fans where they understood that, yes, he's playing a character, but at the same time, you actually got an air of authenticity from what he was saying, because you could tell it was actually really, really hard because... prior to all of this, he was probably one of the most successful factions of the 2010s in the form of the Shield.
Completely with the Shield, yeah.
But now he's on his own and things aren't going his way, and he chose to take the negativity, take the criticism, and use that to create something bigger and better. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the storyline because I feel like it's gone on for about 3 millennia at this point, I can appreciate how he's turned it around from something that could have just been an absolute dumpster fire to something that, to the fans that enjoy the story and enjoy all the sort of twists and turns it's taken over the last 2 or so years, that's a talent, and I will never take that away from anyone. If you can do that, then fantastic. More power to you, because a lot of people can't.
Yeah, the fact that he hit what was his run, like 1,000 whatever days with the belt, and the fact that kind of like it was all kind of kept consistent through that, and it didn't kind of veer off into weird areas, and the way they kind of but kind of like they brought the Usos into it and made them, like, elevated them, and as part of that, and then the whole thing with Sami Zayn becoming, the honorary Us and that sort of stuff. When he made Roman break in the ring, all that kind of stuff's brilliant. And then, to kind of hold on to that, to bring, when Cody came back and to finish the story and all that sort of stuff, and then kind of give everybody the swerve at one WrestleMania just to bring it back at the next WrestleMania a year later. Like, I don't think any of that was all planned out in advance, but the way they were kind of able to kind of maintain that over that period, that doesn't happen very often.
No, it does not WWE anyway.
Exactly, yeah. And I think, obviously Vince was there for a chunk of it, but I think Roman was in a place where I think he was kind of taking a lot of control of that and kind of putting his foot down and going, nah, we're going to do it this way. Especially I think one of the early ones was it a Hell in a Cell with one of the Usos, and he's like smashing him with the chairs, and like he's like shouting like, "You made me do this, like you're making me do this."
Oh, it was Jay, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was with Jay.
Was Jay, I think. Yeah.
And like all the way, like kind of his like Roman's work. Like I remember, was it at one of the English shows when the whole crowd are saying, "Is it they're singing Stand Up If You Hate Roman?" and Roman sits down on the apron of the ring in response to the crowd.
I don't remember that, but that's an incredible response.
He was looking at. Was that the one who was looking at Heyman, kind of going, "We've come all the way here, and this is what's happening."
This is what happened. Yeah.
Gonna pout. Bottom line is, that's what you get when you treat people like crap.
Why are we here? I don't know. England's the worst, the dumbest place of all time. Bunch of idiots.
It's like that, I think, because we talk about back to the Thunderdome and how because it was so quiet, you could hear him kind of taunting the other wrestlers and speaking. I think a lot of that work he was doing carried over so well through to the camera.
Roman's monologuing during matches was great. So it was fantastic.
Yeah. So all that's kind of picked up in that video, kind of it goes through his whole career, from how it is working the Shield through to the nadir of the Royal Rumble, then back up to through the Bloodline. I don't think it goes to, obviously it doesn't go to the end of the Bloodline because it stops in about 2023. But how that video is a great watch to kind of talk about how wrestling is weird That's how why that makes it amazing. So yeah, I would really recommend watching that.
Right, I will be definitely checking that out after this.
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a really good one.
So do you want my lightning round of other random stuff I thought of? I didn't really expand on it. I just wrote down random stuff.
I've got one more.
Oh, go on now.
We touched on it very briefly before, but what about cinematic matches?
Ooh, Boneyard.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Boneyard, yes.
The two I'm thinking of is the Boneyard and the Firefly Funhouse was the other one.
I didn't write that.
I was forgetting about that one.
It was very cleverly done, I thought. It wasn't technically a match, was it? But it was still very very well done.
God bless John Cena for doing that, because no one else thinks like, right, we're gonna have a match at WrestleMania. It's gonna be a postmodern breakdown of your career, John. You ready for it? And he's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do it.
It's a bit where Bray Wyatt was singing the Bella Twins theme song, wasn't it?
Was he called like Johnny Muscle Shirt or whatever his name is when he's pumping iron and stuff? Because if he gets bigger, he'll get better. And it's like, it was I don't think anything like that will ever be done again, because it's just such an insane kind of, let's say.
And you were on about before with Flair about the right time to retire. At least Undertaker did the right time to retire in the right way.
Eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. He went on that horrible cycle, didn't he? Of like, I want one last match. Oh, it was shit. I need to have one last match that's really good. Oh, there's a match that's really good. I could do more of this. Oh, I want another match. It's
and then Saudi Arabia came along.
I was about to say, let's have one last match in Saudi.
I will never forget Undertaker Goldberg. What an absolute abortion that was.
A silver lining of all the need for cinematic matches that were at WrestleMania because of COVID was the fact it gave the Undertaker the chance to have like the one cool match before he left.
Yeah.
It's just like, because if he fucked anything up, they could just go, right, cut, film it again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of some more they did, because they did the ones with they did the one where Randy Orton went to Bray Wyatt's haunted house or something, didn't they?
Oh, geez.
And then there's the famous, I don't know, was it in the last 10 years, the Hardy Boys one?
That's Ultimate Deletion.
Don't know what year that was.
2016.
What about the whole thing of Broken Matt Hardy? That was a cracking period as well.
I saw Broken Matt Hardy at an indie show in Kilmarnock, and it was amazing. He had the piano and everything.
Piano for his entrance, yeah.
Yep. just the whole Broken Hardys thing was just one of the highlights of TNA in that period.
He was training with a kangaroo because it had the spirit of Joe Frazier in it.
Yep.
It's just utter nonsense.
Drone that was his best friend. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
In the context of Broken Matt Hardy, it made sense.
I love the fact though that when he was interviewed at the time, because he was on Jericho's podcast, wasn't he? And he never broke character. It was always completely, I was broken. And he was only like, Jericho you could see was a bit like, come on, Matt, come on, we're mates, yeah?
Come on,
we're mates, yeah?
We're here.
But he just kept going about, he goes, what you must understand, Chris, is that I am a vessel. It was just like... And Christian, it took about half the interview for Chris Jericho to finally go, okay, it's a work, right? Let's just go with it.
Let's just go with it. Oh, bless.
It's just like...
I'm gonna have to watch that again later.
Yeah, you'll watch that again
later. It was amazing. It's just the way you could call him Chris. It's just like...
It's Mexican.
It was just, a vessel.
A vessel. But the fact, again, because at that point he was on the Indies. Was he on the Indies? Was he TNA? Was he in TNA? Wasn't he? I think
it was TNA.
It was originally, and then
it was TNA first time round, yeah.
But the fact that it was able to get as big as it was just through this sheer power of the internet was amazing.
I was going to say the internet did that.
Yeah, to drag that right up.
Still to this day, you hear delete chants every now and again.
Completely.
Well, he still does it.
Yep,
he still does it.
Oh boy.
Oh, that made me laugh.
With a tear in my eye, I'm wiping that one eye. There we go.
Tear in my eye. That's amazing. It's all amazing.
Oh,
Thanks for reminding us of that, Al. That was brilliant.
Yeah, thank you, Al. That's a happy moment. Oh, also as well, the Briscoes promos. I don't know if you ever saw those in Ring of Honor.
No.
It was just Jay just going absolutely batshit crazy on something for 10 minutes. A lot of it is incomprehensible.
Well, yeah.
It's so good. Oh, I'm gonna have to go down some one hell of a rabbit hole later on.
The other random things I've written down. There was a promo The Rock did when he returned to Raw in January 2016. It's the one where he meets the Big Show backstage, and he's like, "Hey, you did win the Royal Rumble."
I know exactly which promo this is. That is fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? The director of the front row, whoever said whoever's going to win was going to cast him in the Scorpion King. How about that? It's such his life, right?
It's the way the Big Show just went, like, quietly went, yeah, I did win like that. They're like, yeah, it was me. He's like, you're right, it was you. And just think you could be this big movie star now if you won that match. Yeah.
It's like, but hey, such is life, right? And yet he's like, yeah, such is life, yeah. The Rock's just like this big grin in his face. He's like, oh, hey, you all right? And he just walks off. I love it. It's just that's probably the peak Rock moment. I can think of one of the best moments he's had, even better than like Final Boss Rock, with like getting the blood on the belt and being sweary towards Cody's mum. Oh, it was brilliant. I love that bit. I also wrote down just a kind of like a general thing for a good like 3 years NXT takeovers.
Yes.
Oh, like, yeah. Weirdly, not so much now, but yeah.
I could probably narrow that down to being like the first match of an NXT takeover was always an absolute banger.
You mean the time that Jushin Thunder Liger randomly appeared?
Yes. Or like, the kind of random tag teams they have would like it would be, American Alpha versus the Revival, and they just have like an absolute astounding tag team.
They would just like
15 minutes.
kick the shit out of each other for 20 minutes. It was great.
Yeah, like from the first one probably through to Brooklyn 2, maybe probably until like you get into the end of the Gargano.
That went on a while.
Overblown. But like the first kind of 3 years of the takeovers, like I don't think there's a bad one in there.
I would agree.
From, I think like the worst bit I think of is the very first match where there was a no DQ match where no one did anything that would warrant a disqualification.
I mean, that's not as bad as a DQ match, no DQ match ending in a DQ, I suppose. So
that's true. Yeah, it was. What was it? Baron Corbin and I can't remember what his name was. He was a big lad.
That could be a lot of people, Phil. I need more information.
He had like a kind of sweary fitness regime. I'll come back to that. I'll think about it again. No, I'll come back to it. I'll check on Wikipedia. It was in a minute. Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Oh yes.
Which I don't know if that's still on the YouTube channel, but that was brilliant for the kind of hot minute that was around. I've written down Kevin Owens' WWE run, because that started in about 2014, so he's been like on the main roster. Well, not on the main roster, but like NXT/WWF now for about 10 years. He's
been in the system for a while now,
and like he's cracking. Like even when he's kind of stuck doing stuff that's not great, he's still great because he's Kevin Owens. Like I remember, I think there was a period where I can't remember if he was Intercontinental Champion or Universal Champion, but he kept being interviewed backstage, and he'd like hide because he didn't want to speak to the person. At one point, he was like on top of a storage truck.
Yes, I was going to reference that. That's that one. That is an amazing promo. He's just like, he's so disappointed he's been found.
Yeah, and he's like tells the guy to come up here, and the guy has to like climb up some gantry to try and speak to him a bit. He's like, I'm not coming down. You can come up to me.
Come up to me if you want the interview.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
What an absolute asshole.
And like, there's all the kind of comedy stuff, but again, like when he kind of came into the Bloodline run, and him and Sammy became part of that, and. It formed the big break when Sammy finally turned on Roman Reigns stuff because they were going about to murder Kevin Owens. I love Kevin Owens. He's brilliant. I also wrote down the tag team of Heath Slater and Rhino.
Oh God!
Yes,
I got kids.
I got kids.
And this one is I can't remember what it was, but there's some promo with Keith in the trailer surrounded by his kids, and he's talking away, and Rhino's just sat there, just spraying like spray cheese onto crackers and eating them. Just really carefully, just putting the spray cheese on, eating it away, getting another cracker, a little bit of spray cheese, eating away, just nodding as like he's saying stuff. They were a great team. I think when they left, they still teamed up in TNA for a while. I think, didn't they? So
yes,
they did. They were in TNA for a while as well.
Yeah, they were cracking them. And then again, it gets in by the 10-ish kind of rule. is Damien Mizdow / the Mega Powers.
It's a deep cut there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damien Mizdow.
Because it obviously WrestleMania 31, which is 2014 WrestleMania, is when they peaked, but also ruined it at the same time when Mizdow they were in the Andre Battle Royal and he eliminates Miz, and then was like, "Oh, this is brilliant!" And then he gets eliminated by Big Show, who wins, and then was like, "We don't care." He just ruined the whole mood of the stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he goes off into performs the Meta Powers with Curtis Axel.
Yes.
And then obviously that gets ruined by Hulk Hogan being a big racist.
A lot of things get ruined with Hulk Hogan being a big racist or otherwise.
Being a big, massive racist. But those are and then obviously I wrote down Sting in AEW because that was crack as well. That was the last thing I kind of wrote down. But those are the kind of the things I was like thinking, what's really good about wrestling and all that kind of stuff. But then wrestling's just really good, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd be the first to admit I complain a lot about current wrestling, but I can still see the positive in things.
Oh yeah.
One thing I was going to say is an additional best thing about wrestling in the last 10 years was the WrestleMania where it rained and we got Samoa Joe looking very sad in a poncho in a football stadium.
Oh my god!
37, wasn't it? It's the first post-COVID one. Well, not post-COVID. It was the first one that had fans back in again.
Yeah. It's like, let's hold it outside in the rain. We can't run it outside in the rain. Oh shit! All right, stall. Joel, put this on.
Poor Samoa Joe.
He just looked so sad.
I found the guy's name. The NXT guy was Bull Dempsey.
Oh, Bill Dempsey, okay.
Because it was Bull Fit. That's what his
Bull Fit. Oh, there you go.
Right, I get you.
I remember now you've said Bill Fit. I'm like, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure he was in like a no DQ match and nobody did anything that would actually warrant a disqualification. And it's like, come on, guys.
Oh, well.
At least try. You've got the gimmick to play with.
Do something. Come on.
Just quickly, women's wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Because that's evolved quite a lot from fitness models.
Yeah, from 2014 when it was the Bella Twins who were champions.
Oh Lord. The one thing I will say to dispute that is I don't believe WWE invented women's wrestling as it currently is. I know they will say they did.
No.
But
they did.
That would be incorrect.
But I think you've had Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, whatever you want to call her. You've had Bayley. You've had Becky Lynch. You've had Charlotte Flair. I'd say Toni Storm's ripping it up. You've got
Jimmy
Ryan Maiden.
That image of her stood in the crowd with a broken nose.
Oh
yeah,
still like one of the iconic bits of the last kind of 10 years. Easily.
If Nia Jax wasn't the unsafe shit worker that she was, I don't think Becky Lynch would be as big as she is.
Exactly. No, you're right. Because it was that image of her with the blood on her face, just kind of like with the crowd around her. That's probably as close as you get to like this kind of Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of connection with the audience at that point.
Yep.
Like you forget just like how over that was.
Is that her like Austin at WrestleMania 13 moment?
That was her Austin 16 moment almost.
Yep.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say women's wrestling is far, far, far better than it was 10 years ago.
Yep.
In America, anyway, you know.
Well, yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna finish on a sad note.
Oh no!
I just think I'm gonna try and do this. I think we're gonna play homage to all the wrestlers that have passed away in the last 10 years.
Oh Lord!
Okay. Before we start, Alan, what music would you like underneath it?
The
Bushwhackers theme.
Celebrate good times. No.
Something uplifting.
Mr. Perfect's theme.
Oh, that would. Though he's not on the list. I think it's going to be somebody on the list. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it quickly. I'm only doing like the top WF guys, but I will read through my list. We have some quite big names. We've got Dusty Rhodes, Roddy Piper, China, Mr. Fuji. Do we count
Yeah.
Don't know if we count Muhammad Ali, but there you go.
I would count him.
Okay, why not?
George Steele, Bobby Heenan,
Yeah.
Jimmy Snooker. I don't know if that's a sad thing.
Depends who you talk to.
The Rosie, the superhero in training.
Oh.
Vader, Jim Neidhart, Brian Christopher, Dynamite Kid, who I wasn't a massive fan of, Nikolai Volkov, Bruno Sammartino.
Oh yeah.
We have King Kong Bundy, Pedro Morales, Harley Race, Gene Okerlund. Do we count Tori Wilson's dad?
Yeah.
Ashley
Mazzaro.
Thank you. Confident with surname. That was another good one. I'll say a good one. Another bigger name.
I was going to say, Al, come on.
Wrong context for that.
Yeah.
Ewan's best mate Kamala. The Rock's dad. Pat Patterson. Luke Harper. Animal.
Luke Harper.
Zeus. Tracy Smothers, who I didn't realise even passed away until I started reading these articles. But Mr. Wonderful. We have the real Razor Ramon and the fake Razor Ramon.
Wow.
Antonio Inuki, Tim White, of course.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I thought he passed away several times, but there you go.
Wow.
Bray Wyatt, Terry Funk, Billy Graham, Iron Sheik, Lanny Poffo, Bushwhacker, Butch the Bushwhacker.
Yeah.
Sid, of course, last year. Yes. Virgil. Both members of the Wild Samoans in the same year, actually. I'll give Pete Rose an honorary mention and Kevin Sullivan as well. Yes. And so far this year, the biggest wrestling death is Bob Uecker from the Hall of Fame.
That's true.
I thought I've got to give him some credit. He was really good at WrestleManias 3 and 4. Really got the product and really come across well, I think, for a non-wrestling person. And I mean the image of Andre the Giant strangling him has been replayed on many segments since. Yeah. Well, there you go. We've got to end it with something happy now. After I did that.
There you go.
I don't think I missed anybody, but apologies if I did.
No. I am because one of the Bushwhackers in there. I am tempted to use the Bushwhacker theme for the memorial music.
Just do it, Phil. You know you want to. Just do it.
Whose choice is next time?
I don't need to check that. I was just thinking. Who's
I did update it to put proper dates and stuff on there again.
We have to change the rules, don't we? Because it can't be. It's got to be on the network anymore. It's got to be on Netflix
or on WWE Vault.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's another option.
As luck would have it, Mr. Phillips, it is your good self.
Is it?
It is.
Is it me?
It is you.
Oh, he sounds happy about this.
Right. Okay then. We're getting to the stage now, lads. After 10 years, so I'm gonna have to I'm gonna start thinking: have we done this one? I can't remember if we have or we haven't. I might be kind of going, "Ooh, this is gonna be a good one," and then suddenly we'll go, "But we've done it." I don't think we've done it.
Or we'll get halfway through the show and go, "Oh, hang on a minute."
The last pay-per-view I was watching as the WWE Network shut down in the UK, and the one the next day I resumed watching on Netflix, is the one we're going to do next.
Okay, wow. Name it.
What better than to do, to watch in a January and February at the start of the year where it's all sort of dark and depressing, than to go back to the heady days of summer. And we're going to do SummerSlam 92. Have we done SummerSlam 92?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think we've ever done it. I don't think we've ever done it.
I think we've done 93.
We've done a lot of SummerSlams because we did nearly to the trilogy, one after another.
Let me just consult the almighty table.
2002.
2002.
We've done 2002, we've done 93.
93, 96, 99, 89.
Yep.
Nope, 92's not there.
Nope.
92's not there?
Give him his due. He's picked out a good one.
Didn't think we had. So yeah, there we go. SummerSlam 92. Let's do it.
We'll be feeling the heat next month.
Here we are.
Slam 1992. Bang. It's on the list.
Woo.
It's a good one, but we've got to do it properly, and I don't know if we can do it properly. I'm just having a look as we speak.
He's checking his VHSs, is he?
There's a Papa Shango dark match on there that Al's desperate for.
You're right. It doesn't seem. Hang on. Oh, because I don't think they were on the network, but they weren't proper dark matches because the three of them were all taped for prime time. But of course, the prime times weren't on the network anyway. Them 1992 ones. But I don't know. There is a video, but I'm frightened it's just somebody recreating them on Raw versus SmackDown. Something that always happens. You're like,
if you're listening to this podcast and you do that, I fucking hate you.
Yes, I do. I hate it as well. Yeah.
Unless you're the person who did the Eddie Hitler versus Richard one from bottom.
Okay, that one I will allow.
That was cracking. That was.
I know I've got the dark matches on DVD. I'll have to have a look to see if we can find them because yes, you've got to do the complete card, I believe.
That's fair.
Do you have to do the complete card? Okay, you have to do the complete card. Oh, Alan has to do the complete card. We can just listen to Alan talk about it, and that's fine.
At least for SummerSlam. I mean, it's it's the biggest event we've ever got. I don't just mean these token shows we get every now and again. Wow. something at the castle when there's not even a castle.
No.
Yeah, this was a proper show we got back.
A proper show.
I wrote in and said you should just call it Clash at the Crane, but I was told no.
Yeah, well, that was what it was essentially.
Well, shouldn't it be called Clash of the Cran? Because isn't that how you pronounce Crane?
Shut up, Phil.
It made no sense to me to have it in Glasgow. They've obviously got Glasgow and Edinburgh mixed up, haven't they? And halfway through, they're like, "Oh shit! It's Edinburgh with a castle, not Glasgow. Oh, we're in trouble now." Yeah.
I also like how it's taken till halfway through the actual event, not the months beforehand when they're planning and booking the venue. They didn't realise this.
When they show up with the trucks, oh no!
There's no fucking castle here.
I do have quite a few little SummerSlam facts, so yeah, well, it'll go down well. I think.
Excellent.
Awesome. Because they released a Blu-ray, actually. I never bought. I might buy it. A 30th anniversary. A 30th anniversary.
Swing of
Blu-ray edition for it. Yeah. I'm going to look up on eBay as we speak.
Oh,
yeah. Well, anyway, that was a good show, lads. There you go. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just sorting this out.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
All right, you. I'll scour eBay.
Thanks for letting us. Thanks for giving us permission to do that, Carl. That's brilliant. Thanks. Yeah.
It's all good.
All good.
Oh well. So join us next month for SummerSlam 1992 and all
One
the other.
thing I didn't mention, I forgot to mention, was that I know it started beforehand, but I really think Botchamania's been really good over the last 10 years. And I'm not just saying that because I got a video of the end credits, and I just wanted to mention it. Crowbar that, mentioning that I got a video of the end credits.
I don't watch it. I find it fucking weird.
You're weird.
Well, we're all weird in a different way. Weird. We're all wrestling fans. So we're weird by default.
The quality of the editing is just so good. And then when there's a couple we did like the the Northern Boys, the old guys who do raps.
Oh yes, I've seen those. There's like every time there is a new video, he's always got one at the end.
Yeah, and we did.
I like Fuck the World. That one was great.
This one, I think it was Party Time with like Vince in it. Was just like it was around the time of all those allegations coming out, and it was just such a spot on kind of take of the character and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then whenever any of them say the word bastard during the rap, like a picture of Pac pops up during that bit. It's just like it's just.
One more thing before we go. Good. Justin Roberts saying the bastard Pac in his own unique way.
Or he just kind of goes,
"He's a bastard." Like he's been waiting his entire life to be able to say that word on TV.
Still, like quite impressive that he gets away with that. Like that, like he just comes on like that's just like his name as a wrestler.
It's on the Chiron and everything.
Yeah,
the bastard Pac.
Okay, cool. Right, we're doing it. Wicked. Let's go. Yeah, I got an ending on Botchamania. That was the peak of my wrestling career. Thank you very much.
And you can retire happy now.
I can retire happy. Oh, I am an ex-DDT Pro heavy metalweight champion as well. So
you are
as we all are, we all are.
Yeah.
Right. This Blu-ray, it does have the dark matches on it.
Wow.
And
how much is the Blu-ray?
About £11. And apparently it has the countdown pre-show on it.
Ooh.
And it also has 3 complete episodes of Superstars from August 1992.
Wow.
I hope, we've just got to remember the British Bulldog's going to win if he wants to or not.
Whether he wants to or not, indeed.
Whether he wants to or not.
Didn't they catch up with that girl at one point?
Yes.
I've seen if it's on Amazon. Yeah.
God, live internet shopping.
I was just shopping in the background. We were trying to wrap up the podcast in the same professional fashion.
Bye.
The music will be playing now, won't it be?
I might just chuck in Black Bart's music again because I love it so much. I haven't played it. I listened to it for a while. We're gonna have Black Bart's music to finish.
All right.
Anyway, welcome back, folks. It's been good seeing you again. See you next month.
I'm definitely buying this. I don't know where from.
What? Yeah, Black Bart's going to fit well underneath that. That's going to work well, that is.
Fair enough.
Hey, you all right.